Okay then guys, this is a look at Quarriors. It's a brand new game that's just come out. It's already extremely hard to get hold of and it's absolutely fantastic. It's a deck building game, but unlike similar games such as Dominion, Thunderstone and other card based games, there's no cards in this. Well, there are cards in this, but well, let's take a look inside and you can see exactly what I'm on about. So then, looking inside the box, and one thing with this, the presentation is absolutely fantastic. You get a rule book with loads of crappy little jokes about words beginning with Q, but hey ho, not every game can be perfect, right? You get a score counter. This will basically tell you who's winning, and these blue numbers represent the points you need for either 2-player games, 3-player games or 4-player games. You get markers to mark the score counter with. And these are the cards I mentioned. More detail on those in a moment. There's a fair watch. Looking underneath, you get dice bags, because let's face it, you can't put dice in your hand when you can use dice bags instead. So there's 4, 1 for each player. Best of all, look at the hat. You get a huge amount of dice. Is that not the prettiest sound in the world? Look at them, they're like sweets. Absolutely fantastic. And yeah, this is basically the main component of Quarriors. As you can see, there's absolutely loads of dice, 130 in fact. So let's take a look at how the actual game plays. Okay then, so there are cards with Quarriors, and this is what we're looking at now. And the cards represent 2 things, spells and monsters. Now the spell cards, there are 4 different cards for each set of dice. So for example, if we look at this card here, these are the 5 dice associated with it. And as you can see, there is an icon on the dice. If you roll the actual spell icon, you can actually cast and use that spell. If you roll an icon with a number on it, like there, apologies for my crappy camera, you can use that to buy quarry. Monsters, which along with the spells make up the rest of the quarry, they come in 3 different strengths. So again, there's 3 sets of cards for each set of dice. So for example, this is the dragon here, and then there's a quake dragon, a strong quake dragon, and a mighty quake dragon. Mighty obviously being the strongest, and they've all got completely different abilities. So theoretically, every time you play the game, it's always going to be different. Now you start off the game with this. This is, as with a game like Thunderstone or Dominion, this is your basic hand of cards, and it consists of 8 basic quiddity with the numbers on, and assistance, which can be either rerolls, quiddity, or monsters. So you put your dice in your bag, give them a good shake, shake, and out they come. You draw 6 dice a turn. You draw those dice, you give them a good roll, and then you look at the icons. So for example, this one here allows you to re-roll it and any one other dice. So we're going to re-roll this one. Once you've rolled your dice, you can then, if you've got any monsters, you can put them into your ready area. This is an imaginary area of the board. It's made up of, you have your ready area, which we'll say is here. You have your active area, which is here. And you have your use pile, which is where all spent dice go. So we're going to spend 1 quiddity, there it is, to be able to put this monster into play. Now all monsters, in the top left hand corner is their level and how much it costs to bring them into play. The top right hand corner is their attack, and the bottom left right hand corner is their defense. When you attack with monsters, you have to attack every player and you add up every single one of their attack dice. That combined strength then goes to the player. He can then put forward a dice to defend with. So for example, if he had this card here, which is the Strong Witching Hag, it's got a defense of 3. So my guy's attack of 1 would not be enough to get past it. Can't do anything. So he successfully blocks the attack. If for example though, my combined attack was 4. Again, apologies for the lack of detail. I really need to get a new camera. If for example it was 4, my 4 would best this, so it would go to his use pile. Now, if he had another dice, he could bring it forward, but because I've already dealt 3 damage to his defense, I've now only got 1 left to attack with. However, if that's enough to get rid of his next dice, play goes on to the next player and you attack again at full strength. Once you've made your attacks, should you wish to make any, you can then go over to here and you can buy, this is effectively the board, you can spend your points. So I've got 2, 3, 4, I've got 6 points left. So if you look at the cards in the top left hand corner, there is a casting cost. These are spells. They can do anything from allow you to gain extra quiddity, to draw an additional dice, to gaining your glory points, and you need to score a set amount of glory points to win the game. And these are the monsters that you can buy. Again, you can only buy 1 dice per turn. However, there are dice which allow you to basically purchase more than 1 quarry. So again, once you've made your purchases, as with all deck building games, the dice, so say we'll take this one, which is cool because it allows you to roll extra dice. It goes into your use pile along with all the other ones. You end your turn, it then starts your turn again. If nobody's attacked you, and you have any monsters left in your ready pile, you immediately score points for it, and the glory points is in the top right hand corner. So 2 for this guy, 3 for this guy, 3 for this guy. And then you score the points and it goes to your use pile. You then delve into your bag, draw out your next 6 dice. As we know here, there's only 6 left. Give them a roll and repeat the process. Once all your dice are used up and you need to draw more dice, everything goes back together into your bag, give it a good shake and play continues. And that is Quarriors gameplay in a nutshell. It's fast, it's furious, and it's a hell of a lot of fun. Games can typically last around 20 minutes to half an hour, making this perfect for, basically if you haven't got time to devote to something like Thunderstone, which can take upwards of an hour, but you want to play a good fun game, then this is absolutely fantastic for that. And I can't speak highly of this game. It is absolutely wonderful. It's fairly pricey. It's currently going for around the 35 quid mark. But as you can see, you get a hell of a lot for your money. And the actual presentation throughout is absolutely fantastic. There are a few caveats though. They're only minor niggles, but I thought I'd mention them nonetheless. The actual bags you get are pretty cheap, and if you're fat and overweight like me, it can be quite a hassle to get your hands in there. So they're not great, but it's not the end of the world. The other thing, and something which is irking me a little bit, is that some of the actual dice, just typical, I can't find one now, but some of the actual dice, their faces were already worn. So I've got one where basically you can't see what his number is. Luckily, all the actual dice details are on the card, so you will always know, but it is a bit of an issue, and because you're obviously constantly handling the dice, I've got absolutely no idea how long it's going to be before the faces wear off, if at all. Again, they're minor niggles though, and they certainly don't get in the way of how good the game is to play. One last thing as well, because of obviously the very nature of rolling dice, some people might not like it because they're like, oh, it's too random, you've got no control. While that's true to an extent, you can obviously buy certain dice to make sure that you can try and play the odds in your favour as greatly as possible. The other thing though is I actually love the fact that it is so sodden random. I mean, there's nothing more exciting than rolling your 6 dice and just getting those final few points of damage, which will allow you to quiddity, which will allow you to summon up a monster to take it out of the opponent to stop him from basically winning the game. And it happens often, and it's just such an exhilarating feeling. And that's basically it. Quarriors. It's out now. It's absolutely fantastic. And if you've never entertained the deck building genre before, by all means give this game a go. You will certainly not regret it. If you do regret it, simply give it to me, because I can never have enough of these dice. This is Darren Jones from Gaming Unplugged UK, and I'll be back with more videos very, very soon, guys. Take care.